being an occultist, a sorcerer, and an autistic transgender DID system is a lot, and part of what drove us to getting into sorcery in the first place was that we were forced, due to life circumstances, to accept a very hard truth. The reality that the first 22 years of our life were a lie, and a lie contingent on our servitude towards a narcissist and other narcissistic people who had been abusing us from very early childhood until our 20s. And then when I confronted this lie, Azrael, the angel, is the first angel I met. They are the angel of death in Islam. I'm not Islamic. I don't know why they came to me, but I still hold them in very high regard, and they helped me get out of the abusive, narcissistic family dynamic I was in. They helped me mentally, spiritually, and physically separate myself from that. And then they introduced me to Samael, who is the angel of death in Judaism. And Samael helped me from that moment onwards to recover from the fallout of losing everything and everyone I had ever known, in accepting authenticity and truth in my life. And then Samael introduced me to Bezaliel, the Enochian Watcher. Actually, Samael and Bezaliel come from Enoch, but I think Samael might have a different name in Enoch. I think it might be Samyaza, but I'm not entirely sure because I've read that, but honestly it was so dense and it was a little confusing. It starts talking about sun portals and like all these different angels controlling planets, and I read it, but some of it did not make sense to me, and I will be upfront with that. But yeah, and so the goal for me with ascending the left-hand path under the guidance of Samael was not only to become a god, or in our case, gods plural, because we have DID, we're multiple people, one body, but also to create something inside of ourselves that no matter what's happening on the outside, that thing inside of us will keep us going. So that thing we had to create inside of ourselves, the foundation, meaning just the foundation of it, before I could start anything else, is self-love. You have to learn to love yourself to survive this world authentically. Self-love, accepting my being disabled, accepting my autism, accepting that I am transgender, and accepting that I am autistic and a DID system. That was another core part of the foundation. Third part was I had to learn how to control my, of the foundation. The next part was I had to learn how to like meditate. Like frequent meditation, I would say, was another part. But it's because I needed to learn how to relax my body and my minds and my brain. And then the fourth part of the foundation was learning to cooperate with our other DID headmates and the other spirits who make up this body. And then I would say that's probably actually the like foundation, like the bare minimum before anything else that we had to learn to build for ourselves inside of ourselves. And we actually anthropomorphize this, or that might not be the right word, mentally picture this, I think that's a better word, as literally being like the foundation of a castle. Like that was the first thing. And then we also imagined, as we were learning these different things, that we were literally like laying mental bricks, brick by brick, inside of ourselves, that we were laying like a road. We imagined ourselves laying a road and then building that foundation, and then also planting seeds around the road and starting to build a mental castle inside of our heart. And this place is like a mental or psychological place, but it's also our headspace. It's the headspace that our system didn't have, that we built for each other to have within ourselves. It is a home inside of ourselves and a family inside of ourselves that if we lose everything else, we have that inside of ourselves. So no one can take that from us, because we've lost homes before, we've lost family before, we've lost everything that formerly mattered to us in pursuing truth, knowledge, empathy, and spiritual power in our life. And now we literally have in our headspace of our DID system and in our spirit a place that is the mental projection of our anthropomorphized parts of our brain that are people. So there's people that form our brain. There's multiple people that form our brain. But those multiple people that form our brain can also be places. Our brain is not only a person and people, plural, but it's also a place. Our brain is also a place that we inhabit within this body. But I also feel like my heart is also kind of a place in my body. And so this headspace that we built for ourselves, this internal world, is our brain and our heart, and parts of our body as well. And we mapped ourselves to the Sephiroth and Qlipoth while we were becoming more aware of different things and on the left-hand path with Samael. And recently, unfortunately, our external safety has been compromised, or our external sense of the things that gave our life value and meaning have been compromised. However, because we put in the work to give ourselves internal meaning and internal structure, even though now we're not sure externally how we're going to make rent, how we're going to pay our bills, how we're going to eat, what we're going to do now that our partner broke up with us, who we spent the last year tenderly and nurturingly building a life together with, but they just don't love us anymore, and there's nothing we can do about that. And we wish them the best. They just don't want to be with us anymore. And also, I lost one of my primary sources of being social online. I had a writing group that I went to every single week, even when it was in person, and then it moved online, and I lost that because one of my former ex-friends had revealed herself to have a lot of internalized transphobia, misandrophobia, and fat phobia, and I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. And then I also, my one in-person safe space is revealing itself to be less and less safe over time. My country has over 500 laws criminalizing my existence. There's an active movement to eradicate trans people from public life in the USA, my country. Republicans have spent millions of dollars on advertising, demonizing transgender people. I get harassed online all the time. Suffice to say, there is a lot of like very, very serious. Oh, and there was also two family members died as well. Suffice to say, I'm already a DID system. I already have complex PTSD. My life, the first 22 years of it, and also last year too, has been full of just gut-wrenchingly awful shit. But these latest things, as awful and horrible as they are, I am not going to let kill me, because I've spent the last year not only doing all this external work that might be falling apart, but doing internal work. And the whole point of that internal work was so that if something like this happened to me, like what's kind of currently going on where my life's falling apart externally, at least on the inside, I still love myself and did the work to love myself and did the work to know this shit isn't my fault. And that I have spirits and gods and demons and Satans who are on my side and who I am among. And so I am never truly alone because I know that they are with me, because they are literally a part of my brain and body. It's like, I know these people are with me because they are me. So it's like, that's part of why people can't tell me that my gods aren't real, because it's like, I am my gods, bitch. But anyways, not gonna go into that. Left-hand path people be like, crazy sorcerers be like. But anyways, suffice to say, I'm glad that I put in that work, because now that things are kind of falling apart externally, I still have that thing that gives me hope that I spent a long time building inside of myself that literally no one can take away from me because they'd have to kill me. Which, I mean, they might, but I'm still vibing until then, I guess, and I'll figure something out. But yeah, I mean, I'm not doing great. I'm really not, obviously, but it's not hitting me as bad or as hard as it would like a few years ago, because I have done the work to love myself internally, to build a place and a home and a family for myself internally, and to build something inside of myself that fulfills the needs that those around me outside have not, and that the society and the world and the connections outside of me have completely and wholly failed me through. And it's like, when everything else falls apart, I still have hope and love in my heart, because I'm a fucking sorcerer and I can talk to demons and gods and dragons and like go into a fucking world inside of my heart that no one can take away from me or tell me isn't real, because it is me. It's my brain. So yeah, I mean, it's something. And like, that's the thing, is that's kind of fucking sad, but it is something, and it is helping me to hold through this difficult times.